I'm Laura, and this is Tim, and welcome to our review.
Today we're going to be drinking a beer that we brewed again. This is an Oatmeal Stout. It comes from a extract brewing kit that was given to us by my brother-in-law and my sister. It was purchased at the Grape and Granary in Cuyahoga Falls.
Now, typically stouts are a dark beer made using roasted malts or roasted barley, hops, water, and yeast.
And this one they describe as it's a little less sweet than the original style of stout, and it relies on the oatmeal for the body and complexity rather than the lactose for the body and the sweetness. So, as you can see, I don't know if you could hear, when I opened it, you didn't get quite that pop you would like. I don't think we bottle conditioned it quite long enough. As you can see, there's not much of a head forming there.
Do you know what the IBUs are?
The IBUs are 33, and I believe the alcohol, which I should have wrote down before I came over here, came out to about 6.5%.
Now, I read that most breweries make their stouts between 8 and 9% alcohol.
I need to make sure to get this nice and even. So, wow, I really hooked you up. I know how you get about these things. But yeah, again, based on looks, and we have had a bottle or two of this already, that you can tell that not a lot of head, but there is a little carbonation. But
You're right.
Give the aroma.
Yeah. It definitely smells like smoky.
Yeah, malty, roasted. Yeah, definitely
Yes.
smoked or roasted almost more, I think, than like a smoky, But they're just, But
it smells sweet, kind of.
yeah, you get this like a sweet malt type.
Yeah.
There's a little strange aroma in there that I don't think is right. Almost like that slightly little weird flavor we had from our last two home brews. I get a tiny little hint of that mixed in, but it's not overwhelming. It does have a good aroma overall, I would say.
Absolutely. Now, they also said that their stouts can also be like blonde or yellow too, which I think would be kind of cool to try. I've never seen one or tried one, so I think
Yeah,
that
me
would be
either.
interesting to see if it has the same.
Yeah. Well, let's see what this one tastes like.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, right away that nice roasty, malty. I mean,
Yeah, and towards the end, like the end taste is just like this feeling, like
Yeah.
the roasted feeling. It's really good. It's like perfect for today because it's snowing out. It's like 18 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I think this is like the perfect beer to like sit, have one, sit and watch TV, and it'll kind of like
Yeah.
warm you up. It almost feels like.
with the carbonation issue or the lack of head, being that it's a stout, there is enough carbonation there to make it drinkable. If this had been, a different style of beer, if we had done it, if I had messed up and it wasn't, if it was a Dortmunder or, something like that, I think then you would feel like you were really drinking a flat beer.
Absolutely.
But stouts in general seem to be a little lightly, more. And I definitely, the oatmeal is very slight. I think I do get it a tiny bit.
I think too, we're not as into stouts as we are in other types of beers, so it's really hard for us to grade it on a
Yeah.
expertise level. But from the couple that we've had and tried, I think this is pretty good.
Yeah. Even though it's sweet, there's a good balance there. It doesn't take off as an overly sweet stout, you know what I mean? I wouldn't even think, just being that it was St. Patrick's Day, I had a couple Guinnesses. I thought the Guinnesses were a little sweeter than this is.
I think so too. It's definitely not bitter in any way though. I think it's just a good combination of flavor.
Yeah. It has a really good mouthfeel. The only thing I'd strike against, I think there's a slight off flavor in the finish. I think a little bit. It's not very noticeable, a slight tang, but it's compared to our other home brews, I mean, I think this is.
See, I don't think there's an off flavor. I
You don't
think
get it
it's the lack of carbonation that leaves it kind of just towards the end. it's good, but it
Yeah.
doesn't, I think it's the lack of carbonation.
I even get in the middle of the mouth with this, changing the subject, a little bit of like a coffee nutty flavor. You know, not like you would get from a coffee stout, but it has a, you know, you definitely get a little bit of that flavor in there.
Yeah,
It's not bad. It's definitely, I mean, so far the best, you know, that we've done, I think, but that's not saying
of
much.
beers
'Cause
we've brewed.
yeah, beer, but the other two, pretty bad, so.
Oh, they weren't that bad. They're made with love.
Yeah, and then I guess the things we changed, okay, because we always had that bad aftertaste we had talked about in our other reviews of our beers. We were told not to squeeze out the grain bags, the grain steeping bags. So
And we did that the first
Yeah.
brew that we made.
so I cut that out, and then
We-
changed one of that. Rehydrated the yeast instead of sprinkling in the dry yeast, which I don't think should affect the flavor of that.
And we cleaned out the
Much.
bottles a lot better. Remember, we
Yeah,
thought there was a cleanliness
But-
issue with the bottles.
Well, I was told that wasn't the case, that we would have had gushers and that wouldn't be,
Oh.
because I shared one at Grape and Granary of the Christmas ale, and they said no, that is not, the infection was not the problem.
Okay.
So I don't think that was the case, but I'm not sure, no one's really been able to give us a solid answer, but hopefully the problem's fixed and our next one will be good too, so.
Definitely. I just want to add too, the word stout has been used as early as 1677.
Oh, yeah, really?
So,
Fair. On that note, what would you rate this? Like I said, we're not huge stout drinkers, and it's a homebrew, so I think the scale is a little harder to.
I think I'm going to give it a C plus.
C plus?
I think it definitely, if the carbonation was a little bit different, I would really like to try it that way. But overall, I think out of all the beers we've made, this is probably the best one. So I think I'm grading it a little lower because it's a little better. So I'm like, oh, now I know. You
Yeah.
know, we can do even better now. So
Yeah, I wish I had like a Samuel Smith oatmeal stout or something, but I don't think I've actually drank an oatmeal stout before, so compared to other stouts. But I think you're about right. You know, it's in the C plus range. It's definitely drinkable. I'm enjoying it. Maybe it'll be minus. But like I said, once we've had more stouts, we'd be a better judge of this. You know, but
absolutely.
I'll go right in there for
All right.
Maybe like the high 70s.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You've been reviewed.